So I'm tired. I'm pooped. And he somehow is not. Oh, who, me? Yeah. Yeah, you. You have not, like, slept all day. It's very unusual. Whoa. Oh, so I already read this whole page. I can give a little recap, though. We just arrived at, Biosphere 0. Yes, we just arrived at Biosphere 0. We think we were... Okay. We gotta get going. Yes, we arrive at Biosphere 0. Elena's here with us. She was followed, I was not, but now suddenly there's random humans here. And we have a couple options for them. There's no reason Elena and I should hide from a bunch of mortals. I introduce myself as a courier, not a vampire courier, and try to persuade them to trust me. Charisma plus persuasion, both maxed out. That would go well. I lie and pretend I'm just an academic journalist. That should let me travel with this crew and see what they're doing. I feel like despite being dumb as rocks, our academics is actually good. Am I right? Yes. I love a good academia. Don't know what it's about, but I do love it. Yeah. Elena and I roll up hard. What does that even mean? Like, we act all big and tough and demand to know what they're doing here. Hinting that I have the authority to get them in trouble. That'll get them talking. We have no intimidation, so we probably would walk up just how I imitated it. Goodbye, Jackaboy. You mean like My Hero Academia? We know a lot about supposedly smart things. My majestic aura, wait, we don't need that. Let's, one of these two. What do you guys think? Do we just introduce ourselves, or should we pretend that we do enjoy a good academic? An academic what? A good one. A good academic, that's what. I feel like we have to do it just because of that. Love Aizawa. Academia, yeah, why not? I lie and pretend that I'm a journalist. You and Elena cross the dusty open ground between your hiding spot and the metal door. Get one of the mortals between you and the guy with the concealed weapon and say, "Excuse me." They still jump a little, but you smoothly launch into your spiel. "I'm glad I found you guys," you say. "I'm Ransom from the University of Tucson," you say. I'm dressed in like a vampire fucking suit. Oh, well, doesn't matter. "I've worked with Rick before on preservation of old media." "What happened to him?" Middle-aged woman already wearing a helmet asks. Her tone is worried. "He's fine, but he asked me not to go in here. Fuck. He asked me not to go into it here, into why he's not here. But look, my assistant and I just drove up here on short notice. I'm happy to take recordings of whatever archives you find, but Rick didn't give me a lot of information." Oh shit, we on it already. Velvet is always in style. "Fucking Rick," the guy with the blonde beard says, standing in the metal doorway. Everyone laughs, and you know you're in. "I'll get you two up to speed," the woman in the helmet says. "Thanks for coming. I really mean that. I don't know if I should picture like a fucking riot helmet, or if this woman's wearing like a miner's cap with one of the lights on the top. Ugh, my hair. Helmet is just very nondescriptor. A bicycle helmet? That would just be goofy. Hands in frame. Huh? My hands. It's good hair, shush. You would wear a more eccentric thing than vampire suits, yeah. Thanks for coming. I really mean that. Thank you, lady in the helmet. Everyone heads through the metal door. After scouting out the ruined entryway, you help them set up lights in a high-ceilinged atrium, careful to avoid being recorded as they get to work. Probably just because I don't want any record of me. I see that smirk, you sick fuck. Oh, I just invented the word sick. You didn't say that part. The group is friendly, and after a few rounds of introductions, you're able to put names to faces. Stephanie, a tall, gaunt woman in well-worn clothes, and Janet, a 20-something with a pink pixie cut, are journalists. Tex, they really call him Tex, and Ophelia are scientists, ecologists, which makes sense for a biosphere. Nah, I like sick fuck better. Tex has a big blonde beard and a big steel crowbar and is excited to knock down some doors. Ophelia, middle-aged, small, and wiry, always wears a helmet with a headlamp and carries the rope, so I'm assuming it is like a miner's helmet then. There's a timing you need for that. Paul works security and keeps everyone organized. He's the older guy with a concealed weapon. The other old guy is Antonio. Yes, there's 6 of them. 3 pairs of 2, okay. He's apparently a lawyer with a focus on immigrant rights. Elena has a knack for getting people to tell her what's important to them, and she soon figures out what everyone is doing here. They're here to find records of the experiments the federal government ran on the prisoners here. The journalists plan on pitching the story, while Antonio has an obvious political motivation for learning the truth. The scientists are there because they can understand the nature of the research, though without Rick, their computer guy, they're not sure if they can access the old computers. They're going to need to find hard copies. Pog, lawyer. Yeah, immigrant rights. I read that as Mog, lawyer. Mog doesn't need a lawyer, except for when I disturb his sleep. Hello? Hello, I see you. I see you trying to sneak some Z's in. Yeah, please. Ugh, please. Please, I'm trying to sleep. Oh dear. He did look really upset there. I want to see a comic of Mog just as a lawyer. I represent the rights of all snoozing goblins harassed by their boy. After an hour of preparatory work in the dreary atrium, the group stops to eat, check Twitter, and you remember that Prince Leto is counting on you. You leave Elena talking with the others, borrow a GPS device, and head for the exact coordinates. You pass through the gray and crumbling atrium to a section of interior wall that's given way. Faded paint stripes rung along the ground and walls to direct people, but the signs are all gone. Picking your way through the rubble in darkness, illuminated by only the group's increasingly distant halogen lights. I wonder if vampires can just see in the dark. I can't actually remember about that for Vampire the Masquerade. Justice for Mog. The nasally lisp, yeah. Ugh, Fajar, please. Please, I'm just trying to snooze. Stop waking me up. Ugh. Oh, he's just having none of my shit. He's not even moving anymore. Every time Jasper fumbles a word, oh dear. Picking your way through the rubble in darkness, illuminated, oh yes, by only increasing, yes. You step through a hole into the interior courtyard, open to the night sky, with all the cheer of a prison yard. There's your target, right in the middle of the courtyard. You're on the table playing BDM. I have dark vision! Even as you approach, you can see signs of recent excavation. Whatever was down there, it's gone. You stare into the open hole. That's not good. Of course this was going to happen. It's not like you got out of Kiowa's in your genetics without getting almost melted by a furious blood witch, or left the cinder block without getting tangled up with Diespine. I didn't do jack shit in the cinder block. Thank you very much. That was the shortest chapter of the whole game, and it's kind of upsetting. There are drag marks all over the courtyard. Whoever moved this cache did it so recently they might still be here. And when you were outside, you didn't see fresh tire tracks leading out. You need to figure out where, in Biosphere Zero, someone dragged the cache. It'd be some nurse's ER story. Yeah, right. But investigation will have to wait. It's an hour to dawn, and you need a place to stay. You head back to the group and explain that you drove all night and need some sleep. Then head deeper into the building. The missing signs make it hard to place. Make the place hard to navigate. But they left one, and the Westminster-like font says, Gym. Damn, that's where I'm going. You follow it over to a windowless shower attached to an empty gym. A long storage bench is just the right size for vampires. You make sure Elena has a place to stay nearby and fall asleep. Cache? Yeah, a cache. Like, I don't know. Shower? Gym? A cache is like a box, basically. Yeah, hidden stash. That it usually does imply secretive or hidden or special in some sort of way. I guess it doesn't have to be a box, but it's a place that you keep something. Special? Secret? Different? Usually implies like a box or a place. This is definitely a box, though. Holy shit! Holy shit! The shouting wakes you early. You check your silver pocket watch. It's still 5 minutes to sunset. Aching with exhaustion and growing hunger, you rise. Waking up before the sun has actually set is brutal to vampires. It's like getting 2 hours of sleep, even if you slept the entire day. No sunlight enters the room, so you drag yourself into the empty gym. Elena looks just as confused as you. Antonio, the immigration lawyer, and Ophelia, her headlamp shining, skid into the gym and spot you. There he is, Ophelia says. Get that light off me. You snap, your irritation overriding your fatigue as you fumble for your sunglasses. Ophelia looks away. Where were you just now? Antonio says. The old lawyer is suspicious. Of what? Like geocaching. Sleeping, you say. And you're convincing because you can barely stand. Vampires look like corpses during the day. What's the problem? Tex is dead, Ophelia says. You grab your stuff and follow Ophelia down a winding, unlit corridor full of abandoned furniture to an office complex. Tex is face down on a metal desk. His throat shredded. There's blood all over the felt partition of the cubicle farm. Cubicle farm, what a funny term. A brief investigation reveals that Tex has been drained of blood. The others gather around like silent mourners. Stephanie sets up a floor lamp and aims it at the corpse as you look for footprints. You and Antonio follow an overturned metal chair to an adjoining room full of TV broadcast equipment. But that's where the trail ends. You know what killed him? Elena asked when you came back. Is asking when you come back. I know it was keeping him alive, Janet says. His neck. Without that, he just... Show some fucking respect, Paul snaps at the pink-haired woman. Guess you better be memorable. That's true. You kind of need a neck, yeah? Yeah, very much. One time an entire squad of rangers got struck by lightning. Oh! Doesn't, I guess being struck by lightning doesn't necessarily kill you, but that's a big yikes. They always made fun for having to go inside. Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. Set off a pressure washer in his mouth. That's terrible. I don't even want to know what the result of that is. That sounds really nasty. Yeah. You're all in terrible danger. Get in your van and leave. I can't have any more corpses on my conscience. I can't have them discovering the exsanguination in case someone starts thinking about vampires. We should bury him as quickly as possible. Why, Tex? I mean, was he killed specifically, or did the killer just see an opportunity and take it? I'm trying to see the bigger picture here. I don't know, all three are very viable. Not as bad as you're thinking. Okay, that's good. Help, my cat thinks I'm a bed. That's a very funny word. Exsanguination. I'm pretty sure that just means being drained of blood. Is he wrong? I don't want them to be suspicious of me, because I'm the new guy, and they already are. I love that word. Yeah, it's a good word. So I'm a little hesitant, I don't know, of getting them away. And I am genuinely curious about the last one. Obviously, we did not kill this guy, so I might as well just ask it. Why not? That's a good question, Antonio says, leaning back against the partition, trying to think. These people are, like, shockingly calm about one of their friends having just had their throat removed. I would be leaving and getting the police immediately, and probably also curled up in a ball and hyperventilating. I don't know. This sounds fucking terrifying. Have these people known people that have died in front of them before? Evisceration is another one. Yeah, that is a good word as well. It just doesn't add up, Janet says. The journalist sets her laptop up at the corner of the desk. Maybe... Hey, I know. Maybe Tex, like, surprised a government agent who was sent to spy on us. There was a fight, and maybe the agent grabbed, like, some office scissors. Settle down, Laura Bow. Paul tells the pink-haired journalist. I feel like that is a reference to something I don't know. You're just guessing and getting yourself worked up. Paul is right, Ophelia says. No one here's a doctor, so we can't conduct an autopsy. So you're leaving, Elena says, as if it's the most obvious thing in the world, because it is. But the explorers look at each other as if for reassurance. Then Ophelia says, I saw a walk-in freezer next to an empty kitchen. We can hook up a generator. Keep him here at least until we're ready to leave. What? Why? Elena says. We're not leaving, Ophelia says. This game says a lot. There's like a lot of good other words like replied, answered, said, said, responded. You don't have to say says every single time. It hurts. There it is again. And then again, that's actually the only descriptor they use this entire time, except for Paul tells. Could have used a little more editing on this page. Oh, well, anyways. Lady, I can understand a journalist wanting to die for a scoop, but aren't you just a scientist? Elena says. They clearly never got the English lecture for creative writing, yeah. Elena has had her hand in some shady shit. I mean, I literally found her working for the Ukrainian mob. I first got interested in Biosphere Zero from an ecological perspective, Ophelia says, but now it's more than that. Our world is dying, Elena, and there are powerful people trying to kill it. Some of them worked here. Some of them are still alive. They're senators and lobbyists. They taught me biology in college. I'm trying to learn their names, Ophelia says, and then Stephanie and Janet are going to tell everyone. She glances back at the two journalists. We're not leaving. So there's that. The group makes sure the walk-in freezer is running properly. That will serve as an improvised morgue for Tex until they can get him home. Remember when the journalist was investigating IRL vampire cults? Went missing. No, I don't remember that. That sounds fucking wild. Hello, Carrie. She's been real casual about this shit, yeah. Is your refrigerator running? Susan Walsh. Oh, is that who went missing? Yikes. I don't think I heard about that. Everyone makes sure the freezer is cold enough, which gives you enough time to investigate the missing cache once again. But though you see signs of disturbed earth and drag marks, they suddenly end on the concrete floor. Elena finds a folder labeled Emissions Data, 1945 through 1970, where the drag marks end, but it's empty. You can't find any footprints. The explorers return to their camp in the atrium. I bet I'm looking awful sussy, disappearing every chance I get. They probably don't like me at all. They stay close together and listen to Paul, who is a civilian contractor in Afghanistan, and who knows at least a little about operational security. Their plan is to explore the whole facility and, eventually, find their own cache, a record of everyone who worked at Biosphere Zero and what they did here. It won't be easy. One section of the atrium is completely collapsed, and another's wing ceiling has caved in, leaving it strewn with rubble and dangerous to cross. And the place is huge, but they're determined. Things are more complicated than they should be. How should we approach this, Elena? Do we ask Elena what she thinks? I make sure the explorers focus on security and don't go wandering off. I don't want any more casualties. I slip away and check the cache location again. I'm just here to find Jasper Knowles' data and get it back to Prince Leto. That's it. Kind of the truth. Piercing the darkness, undercover with vampires in America today. That is fascinating. She went missing, really, like never found. Emissions Data was the working title for my bachelor thesis. Really? That's very funny. That's fascinating and a bit terrifying. She disappeared in 96. Oh. My true crime channels on YouTube have failed me. That's a long fucking time ago. It's like 27 years. Damn. Is there anything worth grabbing around here? Anything valuable? This place is amazing. I look around for anything I can learn. One of the top 3. Maybe we should just ask Elena what she thinks, right? Why not? It's been a while since we've asked Elena. She's also researching the Russian mafia. Oh. So she's dead. Rest in peace. Russians aren't real. Yeah, that's a scary thing to be researching. Hello. You wrote your thesis on climate politics. Interesting. Not much was a given. Yeah, if you're missing for 27 years... Every now and then you get a case of like somebody who's gone missing and reappears 10, 15 years later. But there's a reason why it's always such a big story every time it happens. Let's ask Elena what she thinks. Why not? If this place belonged to your prince's people, he should have sent a whole team to explore and secure it, Elena says. Not just the 2 of us. We need to get in, get what we came for, and get out. And the explorers? Elena sighs. Something is out there in the dark, she says. But what can we do about it? These people should get out of here, and if they're too dumb to see that, well... She trails off, evidently unhappy with her own callousness. Okay. Why not? Elena has spoken. I was already debating this option. We're in it for Daddy Leto all the way and nothing else, so here we go. Judging by the size of that hole, the cache fit into a suitcase. That's good. It's not like an entire mini computer from the 70s. Mini computer, yeah, because back in the 70s, computers like took up an entire room. But where the hell is it? No trail remains anywhere around the courtyard. You also head up to the second story of the atrium, where the window looks down on your Supra and Elena's Datsun. They're fine, and so is the conversion van. But then you see the headlights of one of the dusty trails a few miles away. You feel in your bones that the Camaro is out there, waiting to snatch Jasper Noel's cash. But that's interesting, isn't it? The Camaro is waiting. Its driver didn't dig up the cash, because if they did, they would have left with it. When you get back, the explorers have spread out an old map and are arguing about where to investigate first. Do it again. They fall silent when you reappear. I feel like it would be very, very funny to read completely serious and like not dirty at all lines as if they were saying something really nasty. They're a little afraid of you, and you might be able to use that to direct their actions. I mean, it would be funny. Yeah, that'd be hilarious, right? The map is a bad photocopy. Actually, it's a copy of a mimeograph, but it outlines some interesting sounding areas, all identified with the same not quite Westminster font as you've seen on the walls. Computer Hall, Forest Biosphere Zone, Agricultural Zone, Dome, Research Records, Personnel, and the Armory. You fucking menace. You're not my real dad. I have to resist the urge to say something terrible about that. Am I getting hungry? Yes, is the answer. A computer hall. Could we turn on the old computers? Could we learn anything about the forest? Do you think it's still growing? The agricultural dome is the largest structure in Biosphere Zero. Could it tell us anything? This says research records. Should we start by looking for their library data? I bet personnel has information about who worked here. Yeah, no shit. I'm sure it does. You can't. Jasper! Bonk. But did you eat today? Yes, I had breakfast 1 and breakfast 2, and after this I'm going to go eat breakfast 3. I don't know if I can even call it 3. It's probably lunch number 1 or lunch 1.5. Let's check out the personnel. Why not? I don't know if I'm going to need my hunger in this quest. I can't really remember. My pull-out game is better than that. No, mine was going to be something much, much juicier. You made shrimp top ramen. That sounds pretty good. Lunch 1, yeah. Definitely, Janet says. Unfortunately, I've dug through human resource records from this era before. The organization is terrible. We'll end up spending all day just sorting out what's useful. That kind of academic work sounds mind-numbing, but you bet you could find a lot of information in those HR offices. Resolve. I have no resolve. Yeah, if it takes all day, I'm outie. Yeah. Computer hall. I'm good with technology, right? I'm great with technology, but my intelligence is shit. I'll ask it, though. If it's going to tell me what the stats needed are, I'll go through each thing. We do have portable generators, Janet says, and adaptive. Yeah, it's intelligence, of course it is. And never mind, not even worth it. What about the forest? It is. We flew, Ophelia says. We flew a drone over for the first time we came here, before we risked going in. Even though the glass is broken, the forest has continued to grow. I'm not sure I want to wander around a jungle after everything that's happened, Stephanie says, looking up from her notebook. But the drone spotted a research station in the middle of the forest, Ophelia says. It might contain some valuable information. If you're clever enough to survive the jungle. Intelligence and survival, neither. Alright, what about the agricultural dome? Neither. I'm not even going to bother reading it. It's not an option. This says research records. We're useless in this entire situation. Don't be a little bitch. Give me smite flashbacks. Every fucking option has one stat that is either mediocre or maxed out, and the other stat that is 0. Maybe we should conduct an investigation of the passageways. Resolve. Alright, the armory, and if this isn't good, I'm eating one of you. Dex, alright. Gobble, gobble. After considering each in turn, you think your best chance is Janet, the pink-haired journalist. She's young and just scared enough to trust you, without being so scared that she might suddenly attack. The main complication is that after Tex's death, everyone is on high alert. Any mistake might expose you as the killer. I lure Janet away from the others and feed on her. You're going to lose control if you get any more hungry. That's a fucking lie. And you want to feed before the situation here gets any worse. So before you set out that night, you contemplate how to lure the pink-haired journalist away from the others, in a way that will give you enough time to feed, but not enough time for whatever else is out there to do the same thing. How do I, where are my mod options? Show the mod icons. There we go. Yeah, let's ban that shit. What is the third choice? I know how to persuade a woman to get into bed. I'll feed while we fuck! Oh, God! Jesus, wow, we can't do that on stream, guys. Janet is stressed. I didn't even read the other options. Frightened and excited. You don't even have to say anything. Just smile and leave the camp. Before she stands up, glances at the others. She bites her lip for a second, then hurriedly runs after you as you disappear into the shadows. You scared the shit out of me with that shout. You lure her to a corridor full of abandoned furniture, trusting that the upholstery will swallow the noise. Your lips find hers in the darkness. Then she pushes you down. Distant lights illuminate her pink hair and her red lips as she kisses you, tears off your clothes, desperate for release after the darkness of this place. You have to clasp your hand over her mouth as she cries out, moving against you, her fingers digging into your back. She does not last long. Even as she trembles, you slide your fangs into her throat, drinking in her fear and ecstasy. You take what you need, nuzzling and licking Janet's neck as she sighs. Finally, you lick her wounds clean. Oh, God, Janet says, I needed that shit. What time is it? She can barely stand, which is more a testament to her blood loss than your sexual prowess, but you get her dressed and back to camp, and make sure that Janet gets something to eat before you head out for the night's explorations. Paul watches you and Janet angrily, though it's jealousy, not suspicion. On the other hand, Stephanie watches the two of you with a wry smile, an expression the quiet woman hasn't worn before. Sussy. I make jokes to distract from this. No aftercare. Just quick and dirty. Damn. That's awesome. I didn't kill her. Last time I played this, I definitely accidentally killed the person that I fed on here. I had like no willpower when it came to feeding in my last playthrough. I think I accidentally killed most of my victims, and that was bad. How much aftercare could she get if she's not conscious? Yeah. Well, shit. I'm bad at a lot of these. My technology's maxed out. We could try that. Why not? Right? It's the thought that counts. I mean, Looks like I get my little drinky drink after she's done. Maybe the neck kisses could be mistaken for aftercare, right? We go to the computer hall, restart the old computers. The computer hall is on the far side of the office complex where Tex died. You follow Ophelia's bobbing headlamp until you reach the reinforced door that reads, Computer Hall. Yes. The door used to be electronically locked, but it's been left open. You head inside to a vast hall with an unpleasantly low concrete ceiling. Tarps cover old microcomputers, mini-computers. What the fuck does a mini-computer look like? He keeps saying this. Old mini-computer. Are these big? No. But, boy, do they look ancient. 70s. Ryan's probably from the 70s. 70s mini-computer. Ah, they are big. Gotcha. That's kind of what I was expecting. It's a little small of an image. So this is probably what we find there. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not too sure. Either that or just ancient-looking computer terminals. It's kind of hard to tell exactly what this is. If you don't quit. You head inside to yes. So then on yes. In recording technology, Deck 10 machines, reel-to-reel, I read that right, reel-to-reel readers, bulky terminals, all cold and silent, so it probably is like what the picture I showed. Paul sets up a portable generator as you wipe dust off one of the machines. It has a manual, so you get reading. But all you're doing is confirming what you already know. You turn the machine on. Lights flash, reels turn, and the crude terminal blinks online. Rest in peace. I got Ben & Jerry's to cope with this. Interesting. This Deckmate terminal dates to 8081, after this place was supposed to be abandoned. Was this Jasper Knowles' own interface? The Deckmate is oddly clean, too. When was the last time somebody used it? Names, Janet says, as information flickers across the screen. Email, oh my god, these are emails. This is before the domain name system, so it's just H. Zettler at Panacea, A. Grout at UCLA, L. Van Washam at Shell, M. Randall at Texaco, and so on. I know some of these names, Antonio says. He's a senator now. Ransom, please tell me you can print this out. No problem, you say. An ancient dot matrix printer clatters to life. In 15 minutes, the old Epson has printed out an entire ream of incriminating emails. Antonio is almost weeping with joy, but you're frustrated. Where's the cash? Then you spot the last email entry. J. Knowles at NYC, November 1980. It took 5 years to organize everything, but the research is basically complete. The Sabbat cannot be trusted with this data, but they are superstitious cowards. I have placed the sign of the Black Hand on it, which should at least cause them to hesitate. The Black Hand, like the old Serbian nationalists during World War I? But maybe Jasper drew a literal black hand on the cache. That might narrow down your search. It's so late, it's early, and Antonio looks happy but exhausted. You shepherd the others back to camp. I think that name was meant to be Ivan. No, because it's first... It's like first name initial only. That's why it's J. Knowles. So I don't think it was Ivan. I think the I was the first letter of his, I don't know what's if it's a he, of their first name. And then the rest of their last name. At least that's what the rest of the formatting kind of looked like to me. Maybe it was Ivan. I'm not sure. You're not sure that whatever killed Tex is a vampire. Why am I getting a call? I'm just gonna let it go. I'm just watching my phone go buzz buzz. If they call back again, then it's important and I'll have to pick it up. Hello? They're trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. I'm not superstitious, just a little stituous. What? Superstitious. Just a little stitious. That's very funny. Malcolm's lawyer ringing for repeated interruptions of sleep. You still snoozing? Hello? Hello, snoozy boy. Oh, he's just passed the fuck out completely. Cat jail. You convince everyone to spend the day in the open courtyard under the sun. As daylight approaches, you notice more drag marks that you didn't see before. And a hinged plastic lid. It might have belonged to Jasper Noel's cache. You rest in a storage room you find attached to the woman's bathroom, guarded by Elena. Free him. He's completely zonked out. I don't want to disturb him. Setting aside the fact that I will one day pet a hairless cat. It is it is like a part of the body. You ho. I can't say what part of the body, but it's as if you shaved, and it's like that part of the body. The bag, exactly. Yeah, I won't lie, it is a little bit like that. Shaved and a bit sweaty. Alright, well, if that worked, fine. I also have maxed out academics. I guess we'll try it. The research records hall is past the office complex, and attached to the main scientific wing, which has been stripped of equipment, leaving only bare benches, a few chalkboards, and some framed prints by John William Waterhouse and Friedrich Leighton. I don't know either of those people, stacked up against one wall. The researchers took almost everything, but Elena finds a toppled metal shelving unit full of research notes. You set up some lights and start skimming the data. Most of the books are just lists of numbers, vital statistics, and location/date notes. It takes you half the night to understand what the data represents. They're people, you tell Antonio. The people they imprisoned here, and the notes. Remand? Completed? What? Remand? Is that a word? Remand. Place? Oh, to put somebody on bail or in custody, especially when trial is adjourned. Pre-trial detention. I don't think I've heard that word before. Interesting. John William Waterhouse, like Raphaelite Master, what? Yeah, I don't really know art very well. Remand completed. Resources to the agricultural facility for recycling. They buried them in the agricultural dome, Antonio says. As fertilizer. He grabs his recording equipment and runs for the facility's largest dome. You're exhausted from hours of research, but not so exhausted that you're going to let the explorers run off, not after what happened to Tex. You bang your palm on the metal table and Antonio freezes. Everyone, assemble all your equipment together, and then we'll go to the agricultural dome. The dead aren't in any rush, after all. Oh yeah, Mog is a hairless little boy. A skinfint, if you will. He reminds him of the sack, yeah. If this is anything like Bosnia, Stephanie says, illuminated by starlight spilling in through the broken glass of the huge dome. From the volume of disturbed earth, I'd guess I'd say at least 50 people were buried here. But I don't really want to estimate until we know more. Antonio starts taking notes, but you're more interested in the entirely mundane-looking garden shed nearby. It's been opened. Recently. Someone forced the lock and has chipped metal... Oh, and the chipped metal is still shiny. Ugh. Who are victims of unfair rowdy comparisons. You pet hairless rats. I didn't even know there were hairless rats. I mean, I guess that makes sense. I'm sure it feels just the same way. But yeah, this guy is very cuddly because of it. It's part of why I think hairless cats are like the friendliest, usually known as the friendliest cats there are, because they're just a little chilly all the time, so they kind of scooch up to you for the warmth. Yeah. I almost got some rats because, I don't know, owning them just seems lovely, but also they only live for 2 years, and I feel like that would, 3 years, two or 3 years, yeah. That would make me very sad. You surreptitiously open it and find 3 spades, 3 rakes, 3 hoes, 2 shovels. Whoever dug up your cache didn't do it with their bare hands, it seems, and they didn't come with tools. The explorers spend all night around the Masquerade, taking photos and notes. And they're going to spend all day there, too. It's almost dawn. You rest that day in the old medical wing, which reminds you of your time at St. Basil's. Did that person leave a message? Hello? No? It can't have been that important then, right? Unless they call back soon. We'll see. I'm only going to be on for probably another 45 minutes. You want a fucking snake? Yeah. I was half tempted to get a snake as well, but it's a lot more setup, and nobody would want to take care of it. When you rise that evening, you learned that last night's explorations have allowed Antonio to get in contact with an acolyte of Buckminster Fuller. The legendary architect refused to be involved with Biosphere Zero, but he talked about it on a few occasions. The explorers now have access to the earlier drafts of Biosphere Zero's layout, which should make navigation easier. One of the rejected layouts looks familiar, you think. Where have you seen it before? Where have I seen it before? Little scaly noodles. I think our academics is maxed, but our resolve is shit. We'll see if we can do it. The personnel department is right off the atrium. In a sprawling maze of rooms and corridors, the sense of disorder and bureaucratic tedium is palpable, even with most of the information and furniture long since removed. There are still some records in a locked storage room that Paul is able to force open with a crowbar. You hand out huge binders full of federal payroll and employee data and get to work looking for something useful. Aronovich? Aronovich? I really don't know how to say that. Aaron A. G.S. It's going to be a long night. Just a lot of information. Oh well. Bearded dragons. One of my friends has bearded dragons. A bearded dragon, at least. It's a very funny little guy. The data you're confronted with isn't as technical as the scientific documents you studied the other night, but it's even more complicated. Nonetheless, you're able to organize the information until an interesting pattern emerges. There are tags attached to the payroll numbers, you say. FNMA, PFC, what are they? FNMA, Antonio says. That's Fannie Mae, the loan commission, privatized in 1968. PFC, Palvador Fried Chicken, Janet says. Damn commies. You have to conduct a few searches in a laptop until you find the likeliest answer. Phoenix Financial Center, Stephanie reads. Completed in the 60s. You match a half dozen other tags to federal or state operations shut down just before Biosphere Zero opened. What's happening is obvious, except not to me, the narrator. What a vibe. These tags, Antonio says, track which government agencies are still being funded even though they're shut down. And then they shunted the money to this facility? Huh? I've seen this trick before. Where? What are you reading? Me? I'm reading this. Huh? I think we're reading like payroll information. At Camp Scheffler. Oh, fuck, Antonio was there. I tracked the career of an ICE agent named Ellen Olive Crona. You what? You know who? Oh, that's not good, buddy. You're gonna get iced yourself. Since she first showed up in the Obama administration, Antonio explains. In 2009, she was part of a commission that moved huge amounts of federal data offline for reasons I still don't understand. The Camarilla data blackout. The reason you have a job. And she used routing codes like this on her payroll documents, the lawyer says. Don't you see? They're still using this trick. We can do some digging once we get home and expose all kinds of dark money transfers going back to the 60s. I'll set up the OCR to copy all of this. Don't wander, you snap, as soon as people start to move. You oversee a return to the camp where the OCR equipment is located, and then back to the personnel office. No one moves out of sight, not even for a second. Antonio is ecstatic, but you haven't found anything you can use to find the cache, until you find a folder that fell behind a desk. Oh, Mullen is asking Shay. Okay, my bad. Oh, I see you're going to read your disturbing horn owls. I missed that. No message still? No? Okay. It contains a partial list of cell blocks throughout Biosphere Zero and their locations. There are too many cells to explore all at once, but if you pass one, might whoever stole the cache have stored it in one of those secure holding cells until the explorers leave? If you see one, you'll check it out. But now it's close to dawn. The explorers are happily scanning documents and will be at it for most of the day. The survivors are in better spirits this evening, after this evening's minor victory. They really are selfless and determined to see this job through. You conduct a brief search for the hidden killer. You don't find anything, but your flashlight hits one of the few remaining signs. Spill Zone, it reads, in the now familiar Westminster-ish typeface. Just like Kiowa Xenogenetics. That area is partially collapsed, the ground strewn with rubble and broken slabs of concrete. Still, it's interesting. You encourage the explorers to investigate that area in particular during the day, then rest in a storage room attached to a garage. Oh, fiddlesticks. What's up, Spoonie? Hello. The next evening, you rise to find Antonio holding up a plastic lid. That spill zone, Antonio says, stripped clean once you get past the broken rocks. I mean completely clean, nothing left, not a paper clip or scrap of carpeting. But we found this. Weird, huh? Very, you say. You're getting close. You're sure the cache is still here. I know the spill zone does sound like a double meaning, yeah. We need to leave, Janet tells Antonio that night. I mean, we have enough, right? They can't just bulldoze this place now. The others join, and after a moment, so do you and Elena. Antonio seems to be coming to some kind of a decision. He walks slowly through the atrium towards the spill zone sign. You've never actually been there, since the explorers investigated during the day. It would be easier then, with the light shining in from the broken ceiling. You're right, Antonio finally says. We can't stay. But I think we're being watched. I think that the moment we leave, someone will come here and wipe this place clean. You're in too much fucking danger to stay. I'm really worried about these people. They need to go now. What are you going to do with the research you've accumulated so far? I'm curious about Antonio's long-term plans. If possible, I'd like to stay in touch with you after you leave, because I need to destroy anything that violates the Masquerade. That's true. I'd say come back with a bigger team before the government can respond. Fuck the feds. This place should be this place should be exposed. Also true. But we're a vampire through and through. I think this one is the better option. Fuck the police, yeah. Of course, Ransom, Antonio says. You've allowed us to stay here for a few nights, and I owe you. What is it? You stopped in front of a blank wall in the spill zone. It's true that everything has been stripped, but this cinder block with a faded orange paint stripe. You've seen it before. This was where Jasper Knowles kept the Nosferatu white. The one Julian unleashed on him to Jasper's destruction. I recognize this place, and I don't particularly care if Antonio knows why. I think I heard something. Stay here. Also a good option. Does anyone recognize these stripes? Do they know what they mean? I'm still trying to figure this place out. Eat shit pig. That was still like one of the best interactions. I'll do this option. Or maybe this one. Does anyone recognize these stripes? Do we know what they mean? Why not? Why not? They were used for navigation, Janet says, but all the signs have been removed. The orange stripe is the only thing left in this spill zone still left. As the journalist talks, you start climbing over the broken rocks, sweeping a flashlight back and forth so you don't twist an ankle. Can vampires twist their ankles? When you drop down, you confront a vertical split in one wall, wide enough to squeeze through. There's a spot of dirt on the ground in front of it. There's less than a gram, but you recognize it. What? How do I recognize a spot of dirt? Huh? I'm very confused. What? Oh, damn, Ophelia says, pointing it out to the others as they clamber over the broken concrete. Dirt from the courtyard. Ah. What? Stephanie asks. We were talking about it the other day, Ophelia says, me and Janet. There's a big hole in the courtyard, like someone dug up. She looks at you. Oh my God, that's why you're here, isn't it? Stephanie kneels down and shines her flashlight through the vertical crack in the wall. On the far side is another room, more intact than the others, and a metal door. Might as well answer Ophelia's question so we all can understand each other. I'm here for a trunk of old equipment. That's all I want. Now Janet's up and moving, and Ransom is giving no aftercare. No reason to waste time when I know there's a door here. I slip through the crack and inspect the metal. Someone check out that metal door. Yeah, I'll try to deflect. I mean, yes, I am here for the chest, okay? Stephanie looks ready to argue, but Antonio says, that's fine, that's fair. He slips through the crack and studies the metal door for a second and gives it a tug. It opens, revealing a staircase. You take the lead up the wide... I didn't do this last time. Last time I fucked up so much that I think everybody was dead by the point I got to this area. So it's kind of interesting to see how it's changed. You take the lead up the wide concrete staircase, your flashlight beam sweeping through the darkness as Elena herds everyone up the steps. A second metal door swings on its hinges, half open. The smell that assaults you as you push it all the way back is rank. Blood, vomit, formaldehyde, worse fluids, and chemicals. Ransom is a bottom bitch, oh dear. It's labeled Cell Block 3 in big stenciled letters, and it's either a laboratory or a prison. The far wall is lined with holding cells, just barely large enough for a person. The wall to your right is full of old scientific equipment covered in tarps. You spot a modern Chromebook covered in dust on a metal table. Ahead and to the left is some kind of nest made of dirty pillows, fur, and secretions. The smell is nauseating. There's an acidic reek to the air. The nest has chewed into the concrete, causing it to rot and crack. And right in the middle of the room, a battered metal and plastic case marked with a stenciled black hand, missing one of its two lids. That's it. That's Jasper Noel's cache. Squishy mortals, please go back. Yeah. Good, but I still need to destroy whatever is hunting me. That's good, but I still need to protect the explorers. Time to do my job and get this thing to Prince Leto. If I need to protect these explorers, they're probably going to see a lot more about the vampire world than they should be allowed to. Time to do my job, right? I mean, let's get this and get the fuck out. There's some banging around below. Elena, who still isn't quite sure what's happening, falls back to make sure everyone is okay. Yeah, I'm fine, Antonio says. Oh, Antonio calls up. Just slipped on some... I don't even know what it is. It's slimy. Stephanie is the first one through. She regards the room with total disinterest, then turns and fixes you with a defiant gaze. And you know she's the one who killed Tex, and who has been hunting you for 3 nights. She crosses the cells. The orange stripes on the wall and the chain that held up Jasper Noel's white are exactly the same as what you saw in the video, back on Tucson's rooftop Elysium. You and I are going to have a talk, Ransom. The one who calls herself Stephanie says. You and me and the others. Ophelia's headlamp illuminates the ceiling. The explorers will be here to hear what their hunter has to say in about 3 seconds. Well, I ate. Might as well pump the blood, why not? Pump. Right? Hunger's 2. Oh, we've been here for a while. Yeah, my aura of command will help me keep the others out. Yeah, the others should not be here for whatever the fuck is about to happen. I quickly slam the door. No. I draw my sword. Oh, intimidation. We don't have any intimidation. Threaten them to go back down the steps. After all we've been through, I persuade them to leave for their own good. Charisma, manipulation, persuasion. That should be good. I need to lie. I shout that the room is full of gas and order went back down the steps. Yeah, I persuade them to leave for their own good. Why not? The moment Elena is through, you turn and lock gazes with Antonio. You have to go back. Please. Something in your gaze makes the depths of your need clear. Antonio hesitates for a moment. When he does, you close and lock the door. I've heard about you, Ransom. The one called Stephanie says. Child of Edward Shimbay, courier to the Camarilla, and whoever else will pay. Do you know me? They gave me a name, though I rarely use it myself. Lampago. Now, that's supposed to be a little more intimidating than it actually sounds. Lampago is kind of a strange name, but this is... Prince Leto, if you go back a ways, has a large portrait on his wall of something that looks... Let's see. Should be a picture. Like that. He has this picture hanging on his wall labeled Lampago. An ancient vampire, or some kind of related creature, who lurked in Tucson for years until hunters finally drove her away. Yeah. I thought hunters destroyed you. At least that's the tale of Lampago I was told. Did the Camarilla lie? They described you as little more than an animal. Animal. You're awfully talkative. Now I'm curious, were people wrong or something changed? You obviously want something. So do I. Can we make some kind of deal? Why not? Interesting, Lampago says. You wish to keep this civilized, even knowing what I have done. You're so kind, Ransom. Professor Knowles was never kind, even after I could think and speak. He would be so disappointed in me right now, in what I did. But I am still close to my beast, and it calls to me, makes me do things. Elena casually draws her Glock, then lets it rest against her thigh so Lampago can't see it. You glance around the room for other exits. Professor Knowles was a great man, Lampago says. He was a scholar of the spirit. He wanted to understand what mortals and Cainites could endure, what could break them beyond repair, what could change them forever. He found his answer here, but it took him decades to unravel what he had discovered. He almost succeeded when Julian Sim destroyed him. Julian took all his latest research, but he did not find my maker's original research. She kicks the box holding the cash. Yeah, Elena's sus, but she's good to have around. So Jasper Knowles was responsible for the atrocities that happened here. If Lampago wants to continue that work, I need to stop her. If you're just looking to be left alone, maybe we can make a deal. I still want to make some kind of bargain to get that cash. His work was dangerous, but interesting. Are you continuing it? I'm interested in science. No, I'm not. You know that Jasper Knowles was a child of Riri Mouse. Oh, turned that child of Riri Mouse into a raving white, don't you? No, if you're looking to be left alone, I can leave you the fuck alone. I also need that data. You're very reasonable for a neonate, Lampago says. Very civilized. I am not unreasonable. I know you want this cash. I want, first, to tell you what I have learned, and then to offer you a deal. Yes, a deal. You cannot trust this beast-eaten monster, but you might be able to negotiate with Lampago. Maybe you can reach an agreement and get what you came for. She seems eager to talk, to share what she's learned and become. On the other hand, you will have to be very careful. She really is a monster, and any mistake here will lead to an immediate attack. Already, her flesh is starting to shift and ripple, perhaps heralding some dreadful metamorphosis. Of course, you could always attack first. We got a few more hunger. Let's use our powerful aura of command. Why not? Presence it up again. Elle and I stay cool. We lie and agree with whatever Lampago says in order to start negotiations. I make sure she can see I don't have intimidation. I'm a skilled negotiator, and I speak clearly as I work to secure the best possible deal. Maxed out stats. Can't go wrong, right? When you make that tone with such a bass to it, it makes it sound like a bad deal. Suddenly it sounds like a good deal. Lampago was quite convincing as Stephanie. Only looking back now do you realize how weird her behavior was, so you know that Lampago is more than a mere white. You should be able to reason with her, you think, even as her flesh ripples. You speak clearly and forcefully as Antonio and the other explorers unsuccessfully try to get inside. The monster snarls and writhes, her teeth sometimes growing, long as knives, as shadows squirm in the darkness of the laboratory. But you remain calm and force her beast down with rational arguments and sensible offers. Finally, Lampago says, I only wish to continue my studies. You may take this cash, but you must tell me about the Camarilla, about Prince Leto. I do not want the new Prince of Tucson hunting me as the old one did. That's the condition? You say. You try to sound unimpressed, though it's a good deal. Or, she says, smiling so wide her mouth almost splits open. Or, blood, she says. Your blood and the secrets within it. You've never been on the opposite side of that deal. Why not? I want to save my last bit of hunger because I have a feeling we might need it to get out of the rest of this chapter. But I don't know. We're just telling her how she can stay safe. We're not telling her how to hunt Leto. So I think that's okay. But yeah, we only have one tick of hunger left. Good meowing. Hello. You're very sweaty under that blanket.
Dad, I'm still very sleepy.
Ugh. All right. Yeah, why not? I'll tell her. It would probably be viewed as a betrayal, but you share everything you know about Prince Leto's operation, from the members of his court to his contacts in cities like Phoenix and Dallas. Finally, she's satisfied. This new prince is not like the old one, Lampago says. And I do not fear him. Slime drips from Lampago's nest, hissing softly against the concrete. You have fulfilled your end of the bargain, Lampago says, and I will fulfill mine. But I feel a great change coming, Ransom. Go, and go quickly. You and Elena grab one end of the cache and head downstairs as Lampago's flesh twists and writhes. You don't know what kind of metamorphosis will overtake her in the nights to come. And you don't need to, you got what you came for. You reach the base of the stairs. The door that leads to the stairs shudders and cracks, and waves of choking dusts flow down the stairway. When you can see again, the stairs to cell block 3 are blocked off. Unprepared and exhausted mortals can't fight a vampire. I kill them and drink their blood. No, what the fuck? Do we have subterfuge? Are we good at lying? Nice. All right, what is that option? I didn't even read the options. Appealing to their own career interests, I persuade them to remain silent, or at least to admit one more overtly supernatural-seeming events. I stay cool and conjure up some smoke and mirrors bullshit to explain what they saw so no one thinks anything except vampires. Oh, think anything. So they think anything except for vampires. Why not? Maxed out stats. Hopefully it won't go wrong. Over the next few minutes, you weave a glorious tapestry of bullshit involving MK Ultra, the Philadelphia experiment, Star Wars, the movie, Star Wars, the Reagan-era government program, Jackson Pollock's CIA connections, the history of federal cheese, and the secret mastermind behind the 70s gas crush. That sounds amusing as fuck. I wish I knew what we told them. Jesus Christ, Janet says. That makes perfect sense. They argue back and forth about the details, and once they think they're understanding more clearly, they probably won't believe that Biosphere Zero was part of Errol Musk's, right, definitely not Elon Musk's, secret plot to put electric cars on the moon, but they've completely abandoned all thought of vampires or conventional notions of the supernatural. Achievement gotten. Rescue the 5 explorers. I didn't do that last time. They were all dead at the end. That's awesome. You find Camaro and Nissan tracks outside, but Julian's people are gone. They seem unwilling to challenge you directly, but you'll have to keep an eye on your cache. You strap the cache to the top of your Supra and get some distance between yourself and Biosphere Zero. Then, you spend the day on one of the old barns you passed, coming here while Elena stands guard. The moment the sun sets, you get underway again, with Elena's Datsun never far behind. That sounds as absurd as the Hollow Moon conspiracy theory. Yeah, it does. As you approach Arizona, the news on the radio mentions a fire in one of the towns ahead. You brake, pull over, and think. You can't be sure, but something about it smells like the Second Inquisition. You get to the edge of town, enter an all-night diner, and place a call at a payphone. Prince Leto's ghoul, Alexander, picks up. "It's me," you say. "Always a pleasure to hear from you. Do you have what we asked for?" "Of course, Alexander. I'm a professional." "Yeah, I'll start with that. I never had any doubts. Unfortunately, certain people in our organization were less competent and discreet than you, and there are some complications on the road ahead." He reads a coded address. "That is a safe house. Go there, then continue your journey." You hang up. It's always so like Matrixy feeling whenever in any kind of media someone picks up a phone and their only answer is, "It's me." Okay, hello? I return. Yes, that was very strange. Not too sure what happened. Anyways, my fucking Streamlabs app crashed, which hasn't happened before. It was a little strange. The safe house is an unfinished and neglected McMansion. Only one of the rooms is finished, but all 4 walls are up and the windows are boarded over. It will do. The next evening, you finally check out the cache. You make a list of all the tapes, reels, notebooks, and cassettes inside, and take photographs of each page of the notebooks. Most of it is in code, but a typed-out subject list is not. Subjects include thaumaturgy, the moral philosophies of the now-vanished Sabbat, the Vitae experiments of somebody named Jacob Prester, the early history of the Masquerade and arguments against its adoption, and a dissertation on the shadow architecture that you recognize from the Viper's Rooftop Elysium. I used thaumaturgy to reopen all the windows. Carlos is waiting for you outside of town. You spend most of the next night in his Toyota AE86 as he takes back roads and nervously weaves through traffic, watching for cops and listening to the radio and police scanners. He barely talks. You're back in Tucson 2 hours before dawn, and sitting in a newly refurbished wing of your mansion with a data cache next to the door a few minutes later. So where is all this information going? To Prince Leto? No shit. I take everything to Prince Leto at the Viper. I get back in Julian's good graces by letting him take everything he needs. Use information to isolate me from the SI and shore up the Masquerade in my position. Only then, I don't know how we do that. No, it all goes to Prince Leto. Who do we think we are? Yeah, I don't know. This is very annoying. I did, the first time it froze, I did get a notification like, your NVIDIA graphics driver is ready to install. So I don't know if that's fucking up my Streamlabs or not. It's very annoying though. I only have 10 more minutes anyways. I'll try to be fast. But yeah, I always thought McMansions were like smaller, not full-blown mansions, and they kind of had that same kind of like copy-paste look to them. My keyboard is aggressively loud. The Viper is packed when you roll into the parking lot. Too packed, you think. The crowd is spilling outside, partying, drinking. Who's running security tonight? The main door is jammed with people, so you take the fire escape up to the Viper's hidden rooftop Elysium. There's an unpleasant ripple of darkness as you cross the threshold. The Elysium is empty. So is the glass box that overlooks the dance floor, which is dangerously overcrowded. The private feeding rooms where the blood dolls hang out, and all in the hall outside Prince Leto's office. Oh, it's all empty. And you smell fire and blood. It's muted, but it's present. Looking out from the rooftop Elysium, you can see cars passing by. Normally, the shadow energy of this place makes their headlights almost invisible, but they seem brighter now. None of these are good stats. That sucks. We don't have any wits, right? We actually don't have shit wits. Two's pretty bad. But our awareness is very good, I think. Yeah, alright, we can try that one. I think it's really our best chance. I use my keen senses and intuition to follow the smell. The word spill has been ruined for you. I don't think we have any points in clandestine. It's the smell of fighting. You're sure of it. You're stymied for a time? What? Stymied for a time, since the smell of blood is such a constant where Leto's court feeds. After several false starts, you stop paying attention to the blood and start noticing the gunpowder. Only then are you able to pick up a trail. You follow the smell from the rooftop down to a hallway outside Leto's office, to a strange dark wall. Stymied. Stymied. Interesting. Very curious word. The wall's stained. You look up and spot dark spots that look like water damage. It does rain in Tucson every now and then, and it really looks like a stain dripping down the wall, but it's not water. It is, you realize, not even really there. The shadows woven into Elysium upstairs are starting to unravel, or drip, or rot. Whatever is happening, the stains of darkness are dripping down to the lower levels, blurring your vision and senses. Is my phone buzzing? Hello? No, it's not. Oh, it is because I keep going live on stream. Oops. Clandestine. Clandestine. That's a good question. I wonder what the Google says. Hello, Google. How do you say this word?
Clandestine.
Clandestine. Oh well. It looks like things might get intense. Yeah, a little bit, right? Fluency level 100. You peer through the blurry area and realize that there's just a gate there. You've passed it before, but you can't quite see through it, so you carefully open the gate and peer inside. The smell of blood hits you before you can see anything. The room is a bare cement cube with a single table like a lab bench, beneath a single watery yellow ceiling light. The far wall ends in another gate. I don't know why, I feel like I keep hearing things. You count 3 corpses on the floor, maybe more behind the gate. And Alexander, the old ghoul, is lying on the far wall with an empty revolver, holding in his guts. It looks like he came through another door to your left, which is now locked. Ransom, Alexander says, spitting out blood. He was here all along. Julian Sim. We kept looking for his headquarters. It was here. The same place. There's still a chance I can save him. Not with intelligence and academics, no. We might give him blood. He's dying anyway, so I drain him dry. No, let's give him some blood. We have one more hunger. Yikes. We gotta save Alexander. He's very useful. This is Dove's... No, Alexander is Leto's own ghoul. This would be like if Elena died for us. I almost clicked. I wait for him to die. I give him some blood to keep him alive. You dig your nails into your wrist. Ooh, it sounds such a visceral thing. I could never imagine, like, shredding my own wrist with my fingernail. Oh. With fingernails? You have to be doing that hard as fuck to, like, draw serious blood. Not like make a scratch, like actually dripping, oozing blood, hit a vein or something. Yikes. You dig your nails into your wrist and stick the wound against Alexander's mouth. He's a pro at this. Oh, he's a pro at sucking, is he? He takes what he needs to heal the worst part of his mortal wound. His guts boil. Oh, and crawl their way back into his stomach. Oh. When he's done, he's deathly pale and still in dire need of medical attention, but he's breathing more easily. I did not expect to survive tonight, the old retainer says. I still might not. Fight me. You. Yeah, it's a nasty, nasty sentence to come right after what I said, right? Not sure who to talk to about payment, but, I did my job. No, we need to get you to a hospital. Yeah, save this man. Alexander forces himself to stand up. When you try to help, he waves you away. I've seen battles you can't imagine, boy, he says. I can walk outside and call a cab. Thank you. But first, listen. We finally found... I switch this guy's voice every time I voice him. I feel so bad. We finally found where Julian Sim's headquarters were. They were here. He used Jasper Knoll's shatter sorcery to hide his entire operation. And when we found him, he just finished his 2100 program. That's why the fighting started. Anyway, you need to get paid. That's true! The old ghoul breathes for a second, recovering his poise, then reaches into his jacket and hands you an envelope. It's bloody, but undamaged. You check, the money's all in there. But there's... Hold on. More than money. Look at this. Next, he hands you a small object of glass and steel, a little smaller than the deck of cards. It appears to hold a few drops of blood. The back says 2100 program, next to a little Karambit logo. So this is it. Julian's project to replace the Masquerade in a little box? I need to understand how it works. Fuck. Give it to its rightful owners and maybe you'll find out, a voice says. Nadia, Julian's retainer, stands on the far side of the locked gate, her expression determined. She's wearing all black, except for a poison green tudung. I wonder if that's how you say it, tudung. I think I stumbled on that last time as well. I lie, feigning loyalty to Julian. I think I could be convinced to help. Manipulation plus subterfuge. Maybe that one? I mean, I'm also just not going to give it to her. Oh, this is where I wish I had the quick save. This does say I lie. Good. Nadia says, totally taken in. Though you're sure Alexander knows you're swindling the retainer. I'll provide you with a point of contact once we get out of this place. But until then, you need to hold on to the 21 vial. It's safer in your hands then. Ransom your hand. The rectangular glass has cracked, and as you watch, shimmering vitae drips down the metal, then over your wrist. It instantly sinks into your skin, then explodes through your veins. Then, nothing. You move the invading blood through your body. Through your body, feeling no ill effects. Fuck off. Feeling no ill effects. Fascinating. Worrying, but fascinating. Alexander is calling an Uber and limping for the side door when another figure steps into the room behind the gate, beside Nadia. Good luck, Ransom, Alexander says. He bolts out the door. Get him, Nadia says. Oh no, yeah. The man wears a face-concealing bike helmet and a black motorcycle suit trimmed with gold. You recognize the trim because it matches the IROC Z. So here's the driver. You don't know his name. Maybe it's just Z, the only letter on his outfit not torn away by abrasion. He raises one of his new personal defense weapons, sticks it through the bars of the gate, and opens fire. You throw yourself behind the cement bench just as the MP7 chatters. Z can't hit you, and he can't open the gate, but you can't stay here forever. I don't even know what kind of a gate to picture. I'm picturing like some big metal thing, but I feel like that's just not right. The bench provides you cover all the way back to another door. You think it leads to Leto's office. It's sealed, but you might be able to bash open the lock. Another burst of MP7 fire, deafening the enclosed room. We have manipulation. I'm more clever than the Scoon. I throw a grenade, an old pressure tire gauge, and slip out once I've deceived him. Well, that's really the only chance we have. This is going on longer than I'd like. You lob your grenade, which makes a lovely tink-tink-tink sound on the concrete floor. When you hear Z dive for cover, you slip right out of the room. You can hear radio chatter downstairs. Police hunting you. That little vial that we had blood inside of it. And the vial cracked and broke, and the blood spilled all over our wrist, and we felt it just go zoop into our body. So whatever Julian's big project was, it is now inside of us. But when you check the dance floor, the place is still open. It's packed, but you feel police and hunters moving through it. I need to get out of here right away. Yeah. Let's just get the fuck out. We can feed later, even though our hunger's pretty much maxed out. The main parking lot. Do we have a wound from Alexander? No, we don't. Interesting. The main parking lot is sprawling with plainclothes police, and there are Buick Avenires. Yeah. Clearly some special blood. Yeah, I think so. Parked across the street. You head for your Supra, then back around the corner when you spot a police cruiser rolling through the lot. Hiding for a moment, you look back to the rear of the Viper and spot 3 rides you recognize. Dove's Chrysler 300. Carlos's AE86, and the Lotus Esprit Turbo that belonged to Miguel, the retainer of Dove who died at Camp Scheffler. What is the Esprit Turbo? Is that a nice car? It's giving us one last chance to, get a new car. Oh, interesting. It's a very curious looking car. Yeah, we are real hungry. This is a really blurry image, but that's roughly what it looks like. It's tempting. We can stick with ours, though. The Supra's not that bad. You wait for a break in the police patrols, then hurry back to your Supra and roll out. Start getting a lot of potions. Yeah, right. Need to go. Alright, bye-bye, D. Thank you for stopping by. I'm glad you had a good time. I won't do this much longer, and then I'll be back on Friday. When you check the rear view mirror, you can see them shutting the Viper down. You think you've lost them when you roll down West Alameda Street, but as soon as you turn north on Granada, 4 black Avenires move to box you in. Those damn SUVs have chased you since your first trip to the Viper. Composure, manipulation, drive, subterfuge. I blend into the heavy traffic up ahead, or it's time to get aggressive. Let's try to blend in. This has more maxed out stats than the other one. Yeah. You nudge your way into the heavy late-night traffic, then fade into a sea of pickups and jumbo SUVs. 2 of them turn off, thinking you've already eluded them, but you keep going and turn with the traffic down West 6th Street. Then you blast out of the herd of cars, easily outpacing the last 2 Buicks, then blow a U-turn to complete your escape. You hide for the better part of an hour, listening to police broadcasts and local news until you're sure that the action has been confined to the Viper. You drive to your estate, driving slowly around the surrounding roads and watching for signs of hunter activity. But it doesn't look like they found you yet. You return to your estate and park the Supra. Where to tonight? Alright, that is where I gotta stop. I should probably check who called me. Yeah, Leto's missing. Shit has gone down. And when we start again on Friday, we will be in the final chapter of the game. So, might be the final stream of the game as well. And then next week we might be on to Parliament of Knives, which would be a lot of fun. From what I remember, the beginning of Parliament of Knives is like a little rough and kind of strangely paced, but once you really get into it, I think it's a much better story than this one. But I gotta get going. I got shit to record, things to do. Yeah, it should be fun. So, thank you guys for watching. I'm glad a lot of you stopped by. It is always a nice time. And I will... Good recordings, thank you. Yeah, I'll upload them all if you're ever curious on YouTube. I've been trying to do that with every single one. But I know it's not quite the same. It's like watching them live. But I will see you guys later. So, bye-bye for now.